certificates, followed by candidates for bachelor's degrees from the schools of social work, nursing, education, health professions, urban public health, and arts and sciences.
Was the incredible graduate Carrie Anderson, who sounds like a Broadway star. That's because she is, or at least was one. Carrie starred in Mamma Mia and Avenue Q on the Great White.
I want to thank President Rabb for the great job she does here at Hunter, all the faculty, the families and friends, but most of all, you, the class of Hunter 2017, congratulations. Now, first I'd like to announce my class gift. As you know, it's hard to pay for college and graduate school. If you're poor, the federal government helps you out. That's a good thing. What about the middle class? So a few years ago, I wrote a law that said you or your parents, whoever paid for college or graduate school, can take as a full tax credit $2,500 off your federal taxes to help defray the costs of tuition.
candidates for bachelor's degrees from the schools of social work, nursing, education, health professions, urban public health, and arts and sciences.
Yeah, that's her. I think she's looking at us right now. Yeah, she's waving. She's waving. Sophie's waving.
The
我腰最中间呢？我要18腰中間嘛。哦，右邊嚟㗎係嘛？你右邊隻你右邊隻少。哦，見到你啦，見到你啦。嗱，右邊隻少人嘅。
Still there. Introduce the president of Hunter College, Jennifer J. Rabb.
Good afternoon. Please be seated. Selfie to your friends, letting them know you have earned a seat at graduation. Hashtag Hunter Graduation 2017. Now, at a place like Radio City Music Hall, you expect big things, but this is the biggest. 1,800 of you about to start a whole new chapter of your life. Granted, we don't have the Rockettes here. Well, maybe one. It's not the red carpet. It's not the red carpet opening of... How you doing about that? It's not the red carpet opening of one of this summer's blockbusters, although you are wearing gowns. But this is a blockbuster moment for all of you. Like Peter Quill in Guardians of the Galaxy, you too have had to face invincible odds, getting into an overtime. Like Spider-Man Homecoming, you too spend some of the past few years dangling in midair over Manhattan on the Sky Bridge. Like Belle in Beauty and the Beast, you learned that appearances can be deceiving. If you ever tried the slice of the cafeteria's delicious-looking pizza. And like Gal Gadot in Wonder Woman, you too had to battle the evil force trying its very best to destroy you, Cutie first. But like the stars of the Lego Batman movie, you too made new friends from very different backgrounds. And like the cast of Baywatch, you looked good doing it. Now, like the Mummy, you are emerging into the real world after what seemed like 3,000 years deprived of a social life. But it was worth it, because now you've even got a treasure that King Tut could never dream of, a hunter education. At last, you've made it here to the moment you've all been waiting for. The moment you can change your CUNY Hunter status on Facebook to Hunter Alum. Congratulations to the Hunter graduating class of 2017. We are so proud of each and every one of you. As you can see, Hunter is a place of many talents. The professional bagpiper, Nicholas Rozak, who played that stirring rendition of Scotland the Brave, is a 2007 Hunter graduate and a proud member of the Department of Sanitation's Pipe and Drums. Incredible graduate, Carrie Anderson, who sounds like a Broadway star. That's because she is, or at least was one. Carrie starred in Mamma Mia and Avenue Q on The Great White Way. Today, she will start her new role as a mental health counselor and as a new mom. Carrie, who is 39, had her first baby in December and still managed to maintain a 4.0 GPA in her master's in counseling program. Congratulations, Carrie. Her daughter to celebrate her mom's alma mater. Hunter students come from all over the world. More than 150 countries are represented in our classrooms, and many families have traveled across oceans to be with us today. We have families here from 5 continents, representing many nations. According to Hunter's Geography Department, the people traveling furthest to get here today are Yuba and Muna Devi Gatwala from Nepal to see their beloved granddaughter, Prahalika, graduate. We say, experiencing serious jet lag is Alexander Yarko, who flew in for his sister Anastasia Yarko's graduation. My guess is he shed a few layers on the way, so we say Strazitsia, Alexander, hello. Mahayogi's parents, Takasugu and Miho, are here from Japan. To them we say konnichiwa. Many of you saved plane tickets and spent hours and hours in transit. But some of you embarked on an even more difficult journey to see your loved ones graduate, including Fania Suarez Diaz's dad. Fania was already 17 when she came to America with her mom from Colombia, but she still managed to get top grades and excel in high school. And here at Hunter, she earned a GPA of 3.98, double majoring in education geography while working as volunteer. And today is joined not just by her mom, who left everything behind in Colombia to help Fania live her American dream, but she's especially thrilled to have her dad, Ruben, with us today. This is the first time they've seen each other in 8 years. Her dad is still recovering from a devastating accident, but he used all his strength to come up from Colombia. So join me in a big bienvenido, Ruben, and welcome to the Suarez School. Long lines at the bookstore and even longer waits for elevators. Unfortunately, did, it would go to some of our amazing scholar athletes. Now, admittedly, sometimes Hunter is known more for its brains than its brawn. But this year, our volleyball team made it to the big time, the biggest, the quarterfinals of the NCAA championships. Leading the way was 6'4" Steve Tarquinio. He graduates today and is on his way to play professional volleyball in Europe. It's brawn and brains with Steve. He graduates with a 3.94 GPA with double majors in history and education. We're thrilled to be coming back to our education graduate school just as soon as he spikes his last ball overseas. When he gets back, he will reunite with CUNY's overall top female scholar athlete of the year, his classmate, Lindsay Perro. Our winning swimming team for 4 years, all while lending unflagging support to her dad, who is diagnosed with bone marrow cancer. Lindsay graduates with a 3.97 in teaching English as a second language and will be back for her master's at Hunter this fall. Speaking of brains and brawn, Dennis Melendez's success is so great it earned him a place on the subway. Look up and you can see him in a CUNY ad. Last year, the son of Dominican immigrants and star wrestler was CUNY's Male Athlete of the Year. This year, Dennis switched his focus to neuroscience. His groundbreaking research and his 3.7 GPA earned him a place at one of the country's top science institutions, Rockefeller University, where he will get his PhD. Graduates, so many people make this special day possible. In particular, there are 2 groups we should recognize. First, the phenomenal faculty of Hunter College. As their students, you know them as brilliant writers, researchers, and teachers. More than that, you know them as mentors and friends. Graduates, let's give them a huge round of applause. The Hunter faculty are not just mentors, but also role models, inspiring their students to follow their lead and become scholars and teachers. We know that some of you will be back here soon to teach the next generation of Hunter students. Our chemistry department will be quick to recruit Dayani Bagwandin. Born to 2 science teachers in Guyana who could no longer teach in America, Dayani inherited the science team, got a 3.7 GPA, and was accepted to 8 graduate schools. She is off to get her PhD in chemistry at UCLA. The prospect admired its triple threat of talents. Jothis Johnson, a Macaulay student with a 3.96 GPA, will get his physics doctorate at UC Davis, while fellow Macaulayite Jacob Hammer, will get with a 3.93, gets his astrophysics doctorate at Johns Hopkins, and Fernando Villapuerto trades in his first bachelor's degree in German studies for his second BA in physics and an astrophysics PhD in Caltech. Congratulations to our has been studying the distress cries of chimpanzees and human infants to earn her master's in animal behavior today. She will go on to get her PhD at the Graduate Center, and Taylor, we will be distressed if you don't come back to Hunter to teach. Our Romance Language Department will recruit back Olga Olinik, who was born in the Ukraine, moved to Argentina, and settled in New York. Her love for languages blossomed, and she graduates today with majors in English, Spanish, and teaching. She will pursue her PhD in Spanish with the goal of becoming a college professor and researching how Don Quixote influenced Russian literature. Carissa Sullivan will join our education faculty. Carissa was inspired because her youngest brother was born with autism and a limited ability to speak. Helping to care for him inspired her to get her master's in special ed, and she will return in the fall for her doctorate of education. GPA, is about to head to the University of Glasgow for his graduate degree in Eastern European Studies. But if we can lure him back, the history department would love to have him, as was the music department, who will add him to our symphonies. Congratulations to our future faculty. Now, graduates, all of you know so well, it is family and friends, parents, grandparents, spouses, partners, siblings, kids, mentors, who are the wind beneath your wings and your graduation caps. So graduates, I'm going to ask you to stand, turn around, and give your loved ones the deepest thanks. You could not have done it without them. Okay, ask you to be seated. Thank you.
Yeah, Amanda!
Now I am introduce CUNY trustee Sandra Wilkin, who brings greetings from the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York. Trustee Wilkin is herself a Hunter success story. She graduated with a BS in nursing in 1979 from Hunter and went on to enjoy a successful career in healthcare. But that wasn't enough. Using the sensitivity, innovation, and confidence under pressure that she acquired as a nurse, Trustee Wilkin transitioned to a career in the building industry. She is currently the founder of Bradford Construction Corporation, one of the top women-owned construction companies in the city. Aware of many hats, hard and otherwise, Trustee Wilkin has been a passionate advocate for women and minorities, a founder and president of the Women's Builders Council, and has worked tirelessly to break the so-called concrete ceiling in a field traditionally dominated by men. This year, for her distinguished career and impact in society, we inducted her into the Hall of Fame. Trustee Wilkin, to represent our many nursing graduates and to present you with the Certificate of Appreciation, are first 3 stellar students who join you as Hunter nursing alums. Representing our undergraduate nurses with a 3.5 GPA is Primrose Del Rosario, who has been an advocate for victims of sexual abuse at Bellevue and is inspired to get her degree in Hunter in psychiatric nursing. Her role models are Yana Petersburg and Tessa Zopanis, both graduating with their masters in psychiatric nursing, both inspired by their own challenging healthcare experiences. Yana's immigrant mother refused to get screenings and learned too late that she had terminal cancer. Tessa herself endured a botched medical procedure that left her unable to stand. But both these students persevered, as students but also as mothers. Yana caring for her son with learning disabilities, Tessa giving birth to her daughter while pursuing her degree. Today, they dedicate themselves to better health care for immigrant and low-income families. Our nursing graduates inspired Elsa Cabrera, who came here from Ecuador and was discouraged from getting an education by stereotypes of Hispanic women. But she persevered, enrolled in community college and then at Hunter for a community health degree, with the support of another Hunter alum, Harriet Gruber, whose family, Harriet from the class of 1942's family gave Elsa a scholarship in her honor. And finally, Trustee Wilkin, we are joined with someone who follows in your footsteps, but in reverse. Julia Pell worked in real estate like you do, as an accomplished attorney, but something was missing, so she joined the ranks of those who serve by getting her master's in social work today at the age of 60 to begin a new career. Congratulations. And welcome you to address our graduates. Trustee Wilkin.
No, no, no. No, you need to. What about
Intellectual horizons. Hunter has prepared you for the future. We have given you the tools to realize the extraordinary in yourselves. There are hundreds of extraordinary stories dressed in caps and gowns today. Let me tell you about 5 of them and how they will care for the future. William White is extraordinary. William was adopted by a loving couple after being abandoned by his drug addict parents. Tragically, his new happy family was upended in high school when William's dad passed away from cancer. His grief and the family's financial problems led William to drop out of high school. It was almost 2 years before he took the GED exam and enrolled at the Borough Manhattan Community College. He was back on track until his mother suffered a debilitating stroke. William transferred to Hunter for the next 1.5 years, divided his time between studying and serving as his mom's sole caregiver. Then, tragically, his mom passed away. William was distraught and faced eviction. He almost gave up, but when he saw friends from the Throgs Neck Housing Project where he grew up going to prison or early graves, he knew he had to persevere. He focused on his studies and his dreams and graduates today with a 3.7 GPA as a hoping to change the lives of young people the way his adoptive parents, may they rest in peace, changed his. Yvette Astudillo Javier arrived in America as a baby in the arms of her mom, who snuck across the Mexican border to meet her father in New York. Unaware she was any different from her friends, Yvette grew up fluent in English, pledging allegiance to the flag and planning to leave home for college like any other high school junior. But when she started to fill out her college applications, she discovered she was not the citizen she thought she was. She was undocumented. Without citizenship, she could not get financial aid and leave home for an out-of-state college. Her family could barely afford to pay the Hunter tuition. She took many jobs, working long hours as night cleaning lady in office buildings and as a restaurant hostess, fitting classes in between her shifts. She was not sure she could keep going and was thinking about giving up when she received a new and unusual scholarship for undocumented students. This gift allowed Yvette to become the first in her family to graduate both high school and college, as she does today. A minor in psychology and a GPA of 3.88. Yvette will return to Hunter for her master's degree in nutrition and care for the future by improving the health of her community. Congratulations, Yvette. Shatasia Morris is extraordinary. As one of 8 children born to a mom addicted to drugs, Shatasia was raised by her great-grandmother until her father and stepmother claimed custody of her in grade school. When they succumbed to addiction as well, Shatasia found herself in foster care at age 14. For the next 4 years, she was placed with family after family, strangers, often for just a week. She called it flip-flopping. At 18, she moved to an independent living program, but was forced to leave when she became pregnant. Living in a shelter with a new baby, Shatasia was determined to give her son a better life. She took parenting classes, found an apartment, and got a job in the New York City Police Department as a school safety agent. While working full-time and raising her son, Shatasia enrolled at Hunter. Today, at 33, she graduates with a 3.3 GPA and a degree in sociology. Sergeant in the NYPD School Safety Department, and in a few weeks, her son will graduate PS 154 in the Bronx as the top student in his school. Dafifar is extraordinary. Masood was a college senior studying law in Iran when political corruption turned him into an activist, organizing protests against the regime. The police response was brutal. Demonstrations were crushed and students died in the crackdowns. And then the police came for Masood. Masood was handcuffed, blindfolded, and thrown into a cell, dragged out only for interrogations. In the rooms next door, he could hear beatings. 10 days later, Masood was released on bail. If he had to stand trial, he knew the possible outcomes: jail, exile, or execution. Masood knew he had to leave Iran. He sent emails for help to embassies all around the world: America, Australia, all the democracies in Europe. He used internet cafes so no one could seize his home computer. Only America responded. We would take him in, but he had to get to our embassy in Turkey first. Masood said goodbye to his parents and crossed the mountains with the smuggler by foot and by car. Desperately trying to elude the border guards, the trek took a week. If they had been caught, he might still be where some of his friends are, in prison or worse. The American embassy embraced Masood, but took another 2 years to get him out of Turkey and approved America. Given the crisis in education in this country, Hunter College is more committed than ever to our historic role in training teachers. Let me introduce you to some special graduates following our founder into the noble profession of teaching. The child of Mexican immigrants who grew up in the poorest neighborhoods in the South Bronx, Galia Casiano is passionate about her role teaching English to new Americans at an international high school. She gets her master's today in teaching English as a second language so she can train other instructors in this critical skill. The daughter of immigrants from El Salvador, started her Hunter career at Manhattan Hunter Science High School, a school we started to get more underserved students to college. With a full scholarship, Roxana gets her bachelor's in teaching today and will go on to pay it forward in the prestigious Teach for America program, working with underprivileged kids. Dominic Vandenberg knows firsthand the incredible impact a teacher can have. Forced to repeat first grade and already feeling like a failure at age 6, Dominic fell behind. When his father died in 2009, Dominic's weight ballooned and a high school teacher mocked his appearance. Dominic dropped out of school, but 3 years later, he willed himself to lose 80 pounds, get his GED, and enrolled at Borough Manhattan Community College. There, everything changed when he took a Western civilization class taught by Professor Gerald Clark. Dominic says, Professor Clark was the first instructor who pushed me to my limits. Thrilled by the ancient world, Dominic went on to become a classic scholar, winning both the prestigious Bloom Scholarship and the Excelsior Prize for Introductory Ancient Greek. Now he graduates with a 3.96 in Latin and Greek and will return to Hunter to get his master's in teaching Latin. Is to become the same champion for students that Professor Clark was for him. But first, there's someone he would probably like to thank in person. Ladies and gentlemen, let's thank the wonderful Professor Gerald Clark. Congratulations to all our education students. We have the pleasure today of being joined by a very special guest, a friend to Hunter in New York and in Washington, the tireless Senate Minority Leader, Charles Schumer. Schumer truly represents us and is always championing the CUNY system. Time prohibits us from listing the senator's hundreds of initiatives and accomplishments. However, today we want to say a special thank you to Senator Schumer for his national leadership in immigration reform, and especially for his vocal support for the DACA executive order, which has allowed so many Hunter students to work and study without fear. parents left Peru when she was a baby, and she did not see them again until she came to America at 11. She dreamt of a career in medicine, but found it was impossible to even volunteer at a hospital without a Social Security number. Thanks to DACA, she now interns at Elmhurst Hospital and graduates with a 3.4 GPA and plans to be a medical scribe and apply to medical school. Congratulations, DACA. Erwin Serena is also thankful for DACA. Erwin held his mom's hand at age 3 as they crossed the border from Mexico. He struggled with school and was going to be like his older brother, a dropout. But one morning when he was in the guidance counselor's office being threatened with expulsion, Erwin looked at the tears in his mom's eyes and was determined to make all her sacrifices worth it. He stayed in school, worked to save money, and made his way to BMCC and then to Hunter, where he graduates with a GPA of 3.6 and plans to get his master's in counseling to help others the way his guidance counselor helped him. Hang came from South Korea at age 9, knowing no English. Determined to fit in, she changed her name to Katie, became an honor student, and set records in track and field. She was heartbroken when her undocumented status prevented her from joining the U.S. Junior Olympic team. She excelled as a chemistry major at Hunter with a 3.8 GPA. She will do clinical research at Stanford Medical School before applying to the American medical schools that accept DACA students. And Raimi Echeverria's father left the Dominican Republic when she was born. She and her mom and her siblings were reunited with him in America when she was 8. She worked hard to repay her parents for their sacrifice. Not only is Raimi the first in her family to graduate from college, which she does today with a 3.8 GPA, she was the first to graduate high school. Raimi gives back for advocating for CUNY Dreamers and helps high school kids get into college. She will go on to get a PhD in education policy to continue to advocate for the underserved. Raimi are recipients of a very special scholarship because it is very unusual for there to be funds for our DACA students. It is the Grove Scholarship for undocumented students, one of the few funding sources for DACA, which was made possible for them and allowed them to attend Hunter. This amazing fund was a gift by Hunter trustee Robbie Spector and her family in honor of their mom, Eva Caston Grove, an immigrant who graduated from Hunter in 1958. Robbie, Raimi, and Katie, and all the other wonderful students you support, would like to present you with a small token of their deep gratitude for the way you have changed theirs and others' lives. Thank you, Robbie. Just a few years ago, these students were living in the shadows. DACA brought them into the light, and they have invested in their American future. And we have invested at Hunter, have invested in them. Senator Schumer, in welcoming you, we thank you for your efforts to keep DACA alive so that students like these can achieve their American dreams in America. Let us welcome Senator Schumer and thank him for all he's done.
Thank you, President Grab, and let me just say, seeing these wonderful students, seeing what Hunter has done for them, and what America does for them, makes me redouble my efforts, not only for DACA students, but for all the undocumented. Immigrants make America great. Thank President Rabb for the great job she does here at Hunter, all the faculty, the families and friends, but most of all, you, the class of Hunter 2017, congratulations. Now first I'd like to announce my class gift. As you know, it's hard to pay for college and graduate school. If you're poor, the federal government helps you out. That's a good thing. What about the middle class? So a few years ago, I wrote a law that said you or your parents, whoever paid for college or graduate school, can take as a full tax credit $2,500 off your federal taxes to help defray the cost of tuition, provided, in Washington there's always a provided your family income is below $200,000 a year. So, for those of you who come from families who make below $200,000, make sure you or mom or dad, whoever paid, takes that credit. Last year, about a quarter of all the people who were entitled didn't take the credit. But if you forgot, you can file a simple form with the IRS and get up to $7,500 back in the mail. Not bad. Now, what happens if you come from a family that makes above $200,000 a year? God bless you. A word to the moms and dads. I know how you feel. A few short years ago, my wife Iris and I sat where you did, watched our daughter Jessica get her diploma. It was one of the great days of our lives. And if you're like us, you think back to the difficult times. We remember when Jess was 5 months old. She had 106.5 fever. We rushed her to the hospital, didn't think she'd make it. Praise God, she did. We remember the first day of kindergarten. We put her on the bus, and as the bus pulled away, she ran to the back, peered out the back window, tears streaming down her little cheeks as she waved goodbye. But when Iris went to meet her at the bus at 2 p.m., she bounded off the bus happy as could be. She said, "Mommy, I came back." When we talked to her that night, we realized what was going on in her little brain. She thought that was it. New family, new parents, new house, new neighborhood. Then we remembered Jessie as a teenager where she didn't say much to us. And when she did, we didn't understand a word she said. And then moms and dads, you see your sons and daughters get that diploma and become an adult before your very eyes. Congratulations to the moms and dads. One final word of thanks. As we're here having a great time, there are young men and women in our armed forces, some of them in dangerous places, overseas, Iraq, Afghanistan. They're risking their lives for us. Let's have a round of applause for them. Now, for this great class of Hunter, one of the best schools, not just in New York, but in America, for this great class, you're graduating, as you know, at a time of enormous change across our country, around the world. It's an era of profound social change, profound economic change, profound technological change. The world is moving so fast. In the old days, you graduated from college, and the odds were very high that you'd have the same job or at least work in the same field for the next 40 years. That's not so true anymore. Many of you will have several jobs and even several careers. Along with these economic changes, the internet has put so much information at your fingertips, it's sometimes hard to figure out what's important and to distinguish between what's true and what isn't. And even around the world, there have been great changes. A generation ago, words like terrorism and suicide bombing were never heard. But the good news is this. Your generation is perhaps better equipped than any generation that's come before it to adapt to these changes, to overcome the obstacles they present, and seize the opportunities to pursue your passions and maybe even do big things, as so many Hunter graduates before you have done. But right now, though, sitting in your seats, you may not be exactly sure what's going to come next. With so much of the world changing, sometimes may feel understandably like you're jumping into an abyss. But the key, graduates, is not to fear the unknown. Embrace it, relish it, soak up every possibility it has to offer. Now, how do I know? Because I know those feelings. I had them myself when I was graduating from college. When I was seated at college graduation, I had just learned that I'd won a scholarship to travel all around the world, all expenses paid for a whole year. For me, it was the opportunity of a lifetime. I had never been out of the country before. But graduates, at the same time, I met a girl, and I fell in love. Aww. So I had to decide. Do I go around the world for a whole year on the all-expense-paid scholarship? Or do I stay home with the girl, my first true love? What would you have done, class of 2017? President Raab, the class is divided. I stayed home with the girl. Don't forget, you romantics in the third row over there. The story continues. That summer, she went on a brief vacation, and I went to the airport to meet her on her return. As soon as she got off the plane, I saw by the look on her face, something was the matter. She dumped me by Labor Day. There I was, no scholarship, no trip around the world, no girl. I said to myself, what a loser you are. You're never going to make anything of yourself. Hang it up, forget it, give it up now. And in fact, I stayed in my house for several months. Moped around, felt sorry for myself, but somehow I picked myself up, dusted myself off, and moved forward. And a few years later, I found myself seated at graduation once again, this time from law school. But on the way home from law school, I told Mom and Dad I was not going to join the fancy law firm like we had planned. I told them I loved politics. I told them my dream was to run for office. My parents, as you could imagine, were shocked. My mother was particularly disappointed. You see, I came from a working-class family. My dad was an exterminator, never went to college, never made much money. And the law firm was paying $400 a week, which in those days was more money than my family had ever seen. But my heart was in politics and to run for office. And so that fall, against very long odds, I ran for the New York State Assembly, and I had 3 opponents. There was the party machine candidate, there was a neighborhood activist, and then there was my mother, who was telling all her friends not to vote for me. So she said I get this dumb idea of being a politician out of my big thick head. Well, graduates, a few years earlier I didn't get the girl, but that November I won the election. The rest is history. So graduates, on this great day of your achievement, my advice to you is take the risk. Don't let fear of failure deter you, even though the world is so different and so changing. For those of us who have gotten older and look back, sometimes our greatest regret is the what-ifs. What if I had only done this? What if I had only gone there?
It's now time for the class of 2017 valedictorian.